Welcome to the presentation on optimizing media campaigns with machine learning and first-party data. My name is Shruthi Jagannath. I'm an Associate Director of Customer Data Platform and Data Science at EdPlus. I have spent the last 3.5 years at EdPlus in ASU analyzing web behavior data, and I also work with all other sources of data at EdPlus to create a single view of ASU affiliates and activate the single view.
Hello, everyone. My name is Claire Slattery. I'm the Senior Manager of Marketing Data Analytics at ASU Enterprise Partners. I have been with ASU tangentially for the past 3.5 years, recently moved outside of the university to ASU Enterprise Partners, and my primary role is outreach for our ASU Online student population, generating leads, focusing on marketing strategy and paid media.
Today, we're going to talk to you about how our teams leverage ASU's superior first-party data to create a unified view of the user to serve all our digital marketing needs through audience segmentation and data optimization. What is first-party data and why is it important? First-party data is data that organizations collect through their own sources. It's really important because it has many advantages, especially in comparison to third-party data that we purchase from vendors. The first advantage is that we have control over how we collect the data and manipulate the data. If there are any data analysts in the group, there would be an agreement. When you collect data yourselves, you know how, when, and why you're collecting the data, and you are able to standardize the data at the point of collection. And this makes it easy to manipulate further down the line. And you also have visibility of the data. So when you can take a close look at the data, a lot of ideas pop up. You can use it for multiple use cases, and the team becomes more creative, and the possibilities are endless at that point. The next advantage is that first-party data gives us exclusive ownership, and the data is unique. So the data that ASU collects is ASU's data. The other institutions in the market don't have access to this data. And also the data that we collect is restricted to how users and different students and alumni are all interacting with ASU. Therefore, the data is unique. First-party data is also the least expensive way to collect data, and here we'll talk about the alternative. And finally, first-party data secures data privacy and data protection. Because we have so much control over the data, we are able to comply with privacy regulations.
So as far as the disadvantages of third-party data, so when you deal with third-party data, you're actually purchasing it from an external source. And then also it's aggregated in large-scale data sets. So essentially what that means is that, anyone can essentially, purchase these same lists that you may be purchasing, and they also come at a premium cost. So for us to be able to activate audiences based off of third-party data, such as, if you're interested in pursuing higher education or any of those other in-market segments, we could potentially be competing against other institutions that are going after that same audience. Oftentimes those match rates are poor with organization data. So say we're purchasing something from an Epsilon or an Axiom, and we're trying to, activate that out of a advertising platform. They may see someone as, person ABC, but say Facebook sees this person as DEF. They might not always be able to find that exact person that you're trying to go after, because they use different definitions of who this person is. It's also not aligned with privacy expectations. So when you think about all of the cookies and the things that are tracking, and you get ads for something that you potentially didn't think you opted in for, it all is, or could essentially be like in part due to that third party experience of someone has your data and is then trying to serve you with that experience that they're trying to get you to purchase or to make an action. And of course, it's expensive, but not unique. So again, I kind of covered this in some of the previous bullet points, but there's a lot of different in-market segments that a lot of advertisers are advertising off of and competing against. And then the more folks that are kind of opted into that experience actually drives up the cost for everyone.
Both Claire and I have talked about data privacy. We mentioned it in our slides. So let's talk a little bit more about data privacy and data protection before we talk about the use cases. In 2021, KPMG conducted a survey on data privacy. 85% of the respondents said that data privacy is a growing concern. And 68% of them said that they're concerned with the vast amount of data that organizations are collecting. So as we start to collect all of our first-party data and start to use it, we need to keep in mind data privacy principles. First, always collect data for explicit purposes. Be transparent in why and how you're collecting data and only use it for those purposes. Second, collect data that is relevant and minimum for your use cases. Third, always maintain accuracy of data. And we'll talk a little bit more about how our team is working towards always maintaining the most recent snapshot of a particular user. Next, we need to comply with storage restrictions and limitations. So basically, you need to delete data when it is expected that you're supposed to delete data. Always maintain integrity and confidentiality when it comes to data handling. And finally, ensure that there is an enterprise level accountability. At EdPlus, we have really good collaborations with all of the data teams, and we are now coming together to build best practices around data privacy.
So let's talk about the first-party data that is owned by ASU. This should be a review for most of the people in the room, but just in case, we do have first-party web behavior data. There are over 3,000 subdomains across the asu.edu landscape, and we do have user behavior coming from Google Analytics for all of those subdomains. We also have other engagement data, such as SMS, chats, phone calls, emails, all of those comms that are being sent out via Salesforce and are being tracked there. We also have our student information system data. So that's going to be your enrollment and demographic data coming from PeopleSoft. And then we also have our LMS data. So Canvas data, things that our students are interacting with, courses, etc. So yes, lots of data that we own on our students and have the responsibility to uphold their privacy and manage their expectations of what they can expect to be delivered from us from both a marketing and experience.
I want to focus a little bit on web behavior data, the first bullet point on this slide. At EdPlus, we use server-side tag management for our web and conversion tracking. We have a comprehensive data layer on all of our websites, which ensures that data is collected in a very clean manner right when someone is interacting with a website, so that manipulation becomes very easy after that data flows into different systems. And as soon as we collect the data is also transferred to different platforms. We transfer it to different analytics platforms, data platforms, and marketing platforms. Just to give you a sense of the volume of data that we collect, we have had over 3 million users on ASU Online alone this year. And we have 15 conversion events that we carefully track on our websites. This includes RFI form submissions, click to chat, call, email, application starts, and application submit. So we've talked about the different data sources that ASU owns. Each of these data sources are very critical, but they also provide a very fragmented view of an individual. So how do we amplify the effect of these different data sources? We do so by joining them all together to create what we call as the single view of the web user at ASU, or the golden profile. Let me illustrate. We start with web behavior data from Google Analytics. When people visit our website, we take a look at these users and what it is that they're doing on our website, and we join that data with data from Salesforce. Salesforce gives us information about whether they've contacted and engaged with our enrollment center. And then we proceed to join that with data from PeopleSoft, which gives us information about whether they've enrolled in a course, what are their demographics, their academic standing, so on and so forth. Then finally, we also join all of this data with data from Canvas. So we know that someone visited the website, they contacted ASU, they're a student, and how is it that they're performing their courses, how are they interacting with their day-to-day course. And this is a superset of data, and every single row in this superset belongs to either a prospect, a student, or an alum. And that is what we call the golden profile. And we maintain a very updated snapshot of the user as a part of the golden profile. We make real-time updates to the golden profile. So every single time that the golden profile is either created or updated, we are ready to transfer the data to different endpoints. We can send the data to different marketing platforms such as Google Ads, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. We can also kickstart communications through Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We can send it to any endpoint of our choosing. We can send it to Google Spreadsheets. We can send it to a Slack channel or even a Google Data Studio dashboard. That is a little vague, so let me take you through an example that I pulled from our database. So here is an example of a golden profile of a web visitor that I pulled from Tedium, which is our customer data platform. So user X started their journey with ASU through a web visit. This user, we saw that they were repeatedly consuming content relating to admission requirements for transfer students. And when we saw that they were visiting these transfer student pages more than an average number of times, the golden profile marked them as likely transfer. The same student was also repeatedly visiting pages relating to scholarships. They wanted to know scholarship deadlines, scholarship opportunities, work for study programs. So the golden profile flagged them as likely scholarship. Sometime at the start of this year, the same prospect contacted ASU through an RFI form submission. So at this point, both Salesforce and web behavior have indicated that the particular user has contacted ASU. And then later in the year, they were proceeded to start an application as per Salesforce, and then they went on to enroll as per PeopleSoft. And now that they are a student at ASU, we continue to monitor their web behavior, and we're seeing that the same person is looking for information about tutoring services in the ASU web ecosystem. So through the golden profile, we can see when and how users are progressing in the funnel. And at each stage in the funnel, we can see what their areas of interest are, what are their attributes, and at the population level, we know everyone's interests, and we're able to do smart audience segmentation and activation.
So as far as the advantages of the comprehensive golden profile, we're able to map the user journey in its entirety. This is from a first web session to graduation. This is from RFI to enrollment and beyond. So it's a really, really impactful piece of data, or rather compilation of data points that we have on our students across their entire journey from prospect to alum. As far as measurement goes, there's omni-channel measurement. So for us, we're thinking, how can we understand from this Google ad click whether they enrolled and then persisted beyond their first session. So that comes in with looking at a lot of different data points from Google Ads all the way through PeopleSoft and joining those together to understand exactly which ads and which audiences are, causing that greatest lift for us with our marketing campaigns, as well as us being able to understand our student population better. We also have comprehensive attribution analysis. So again, coming back to that, we have first touch, we have last touch, we have assisted, understanding if our display campaigns, even though they may not convert right away, are those remarketing campaigns that we're serving later contributing to those app starts, those app submits, those enrollments? What about SEO? What role does that have to play in the user's journey, where maybe they, saw Facebook ad first, but then converted later through SEO, which we know is our highest converting channel across the ecosystem for enrollment for ASU Online. We also have accuracy and precision. So because of the wonderful work that we have with the data collection and ensuring that the data is clean and accurate, we are able to really draw those accurate data points and understanding so that we can optimize our campaigns towards the trends that we're seeing in the data, and we have confidence in that. And then we also are able to leverage all of the pieces of data that we have for backfills and marketing. And we'll get to that in a few slides. So as we talk about the marketing strategies based on first-party data, we have quite a few that are active right now with our marketing campaigns. So we utilize our first-party data for remarketing and nurturing, for lookalike marketing, exclusion from marketing, and as well as bidding and optimization. So we really are using all of the pieces that we have on our prospects and making sure that we are able to target the right user at the right time in their decision-making process, but also exclude those who may already be a part of the ASU community or have already expressed interest, so that we're not, wasting ad dollars hitting the same person over and over again who's already taken an action.
Now we go into the actual use cases. So we have some exciting examples to share with the group today. The first strategy is remarketing and nurturing. This is the strategy we follow when we want to advertise to prospects who have shown interest in ASU Online and are yet to advance in the funnel.
So how do we actually do this? So say, for example, a prospect repeatedly consumes military and veteran-related content. So our CDP, our customer data platform, Telium, will flag them as a likely military potential student. And then say they also are interested in biological sciences. So they're also going to be flagged as likely biological sciences. And then that data is sent to Google Ads and other remarketing and other platforms for remarketing. And then what we're able to do is serve them relevant content to their attributes. So say that, the military piece, we have dedicated military support for these students. So we're able to say, hey, our system has flagged you as this. Please talk to someone who is specializing in what you're interested in, so that we can further help you in your enrollment journey.
Apart from remarketing to anonymous website visitors, we also nurture leads who have contacted ASU. So here's an example where a user submits an online request for information form. And as soon as it submits that request for information form, the golden profile will also check to see if they have started an application. And if they have not started an application, the record is sent to Google Ads for remarketing and nurturing. And then they're served ads, encouraging them to progress further in the funnel. What I like about this particular process is that everything happens instantaneously. As soon as the RFI submission happens on the website, the data is instantly sent into Telium, and Telium immediately checks to see if they have an application start, and immediately the record is sent over to Google Ads. So whenever the user comes back in later on and they search for ASU Online, Google Ads is just waiting to serve them the appropriate ad.
And we also use first-party data to target lookalike audiences. So these are for finding new prospects who are likely to enroll. And how we do this is by finding let's see. So we upload our first party data to find highly qualified leads. And what this does is it reaches a broader audience that are relevant and similar to our current students. And from this, then we target users that are likely to enroll, which could lead to a higher ROI. And the implementation is quick and easy. So as Shruthi said, the second that a user or a student joins the audience, it's sent directly to the base of the lookalike audience. And then the lookalike audience will say, hey, okay, this new person has joined. So then the model refreshes itself on the platform side. And this is amazing because a lot of times marketers are actually uploading lists, which can get messy. It's very difficult to maintain. And so by having that direct connection with the consumer data platform, we don't have to worry about making sure that we're always staying up to date on our lists, so to speak, it's a huge time saver.
This is a strategy that I personally like. It is excluding audiences. I like this strategy because it helps us save media spend by excluding ASU affiliates from marketing. So how we do this is within Telium, which is our customer data platform, we have a list of all enrolled ASU students, both campus and online. And then we also have comprehensive web tracking. So we are able to track users who log into Canvas, who log into my ASU. So we know that these people are already affiliated with the ASU, and we can exclude them from marketing. So what Claire has done is within each of these marketing platforms, she's established exclusion lists. So the minute we flag someone as an ASU affiliate in the customer data platform, the record is sent over to that exclusion list in each marketing platform. And let's say that today I log into my ASU and then my record is sent over to Google Ads exclusion list. If I go now and search for ASU online, I will not see an ad for ASU online. So this is how we save money. And it helps us reallocate budget to other campaigns that will help us focus on high intent new users who we can attract. The thing that I really like about this audience is that it is very easy to implement and it is very effective. So all that we had to do was talk to the enrollment center, and they gave us a list of enrolled students and we uploaded it, and everything is automated. And the web tracking is also set up already thanks to server-side tag management. So we were just leveraging everything that we already had inside Telium. And again, we collated and activated data from across the university. So we have a list of all enrolled students. And you're probably wondering how effective has the strategy been. Before we implemented this strategy, we saw that 15% of users who clicked on a paid ad actually went into my ASU. And we've been implementing this in a phased approach. And now we're seeing that only 3% of users who click on Google Ads are going into my ASU. And we're hoping that it will go further down because it's a recent implementation.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, it's been such a fun project to work on. Understanding the different levels of data that the platforms are also looking for. So for example, we do understand that everyone who is a part of the ASU community does have a Google profile, right, with their ASU rights. But when they're logging on to Facebook, for example, they're not using their ASU email addresses. So then we're trying to configure and find the right pieces of contact information that we have on our current students to make sure that we're able to get the most out of the platforms, that hopefully no one sees the ads. We also leverage machine learning in marketing. So with this, it enables the focus on likelihood to enroll in the place of upper funnel conversions. So what this does is it overcomes the limitations on look back windows and marketing platforms. And essentially what this means is it takes a user, an average of 80 to 90 days to enroll at the time of RFI. Now, for look back windows in marketing platforms, they recommend about a 30-day look back window. So if we're trying to serve ads to students that are likely to enroll, it's really difficult because our endpoint is way too far in the future for Google or Facebook to be able to optimize towards those users. So instead, what we have done is we are leveraging machine learning from our, we have 3 models in production to that measure the user's likelihood to enroll at the time of either an RFI or an app submit. And through that, we kind of up that process and circumvent that look back window by giving our users a value of that likelihood. So with that, we're progressively improving our bidding strategies across Google. So when you first start a campaign, we have a goal of maximizing our clicks. This is simply because we don't know how much a conversion is going to cost. We have different keywords, we have different strategies, we have a lot of different moving parts across every single campaign that we have. And so once we understand how much our conversions cost, then what we can do is move to a target cost per action. So what this does is it helps us maximize conversions, but that's just volume. It's not quality. So what we're doing with our next step is that we're actually going to maximize the conversion value that is based on a user's likelihood to enroll at the time of RFI. So what that will do is it will allow us to maximize our return by hopefully getting both the quality and the quantity that we have through our machine learning models.
We talked about many advantages of first-party data, and we saw how the golden profile is being created at a class. The other thing that we're doing with first-party data is building predictive models. For this use case, we have 3 models that are relevant that rely on web behavior data. All 3 models predict the same end goal, which is propensity to enroll. The first model predicts the propensity to enroll when someone comes into the ASU online website and they submit a request for information form. The second model predicts the propensity to enroll when someone starts an application for an ASU online program. The last model will predict the propensity to enroll when someone just visits ASU online but haven't done either an RFI or an application start. So this is how our daily predictions and data flow works. Each morning, the 3 models will do a batch processing and they will provide the propensity to enroll for our users. And the propensity to enroll is what we call as lead score. So for example, if I submit an RFI and the model could say that Shruthi has a 60% propensity to enroll, and Claire could submit an RFI and she could have 70% propensity to enroll. My lead score is 60 and Claire's is 70. So as soon as these predictions are done, we process the predictions in Telium and we send over all of the data and records to Google Campaign Manager, and the lead scores become a conversion value. So now Google has an additional signal to optimize for. Google knows that Claire is more valuable as a lead than Shruthi, given the fact that we are providing this value and the lead score. And all of the campaigns will now start optimizing towards this new value. And that is how we shift focus from just trying to improve the number of RFIs and number of application starts to quality RFIs and quality application starts that could result in enrollments.
So as far as other marketing strategies that rely on machine learning, we also utilize lookalike audiences to identify quality leads and to find new and similar users. So we do have a few lookalike audiences that are active in our campaigns. One of them is based off of quality leads. So say that, we have a threshold of these users that are considered to be more quality than others, then we take that base and we create a lookalike audience off of those users that are more likely to enroll, that have that higher propensity to enroll. We also are creating lookalike audiences based on our currently enrolled ASU Online students. So we also have that data and it is matched, and then we create the lookalike audience in the platform, and we have ads that are reaching out to those that are similar to those that are already enrolled.
Probably everyone in this room already knows the ASU charter, but I still want to bring that up because this charter is very important to our team, and especially when it comes to machine learning. ASU is a comprehensive public research university measured not by whom it excludes, but whom it includes. So our team, in building all of these machine learning models, we have only included anonymous web behavior data in there. We have excluded any information relating to protected class, such as gender, race, ethnicity, and economic standing, to ensure that our models are not dealing out any disparate treatment. So that's just something that I wanted to call out when it comes to actually utilizing your machine learning outputs. So we've come to the end of the presentation. So what are some of the key takeaways? At Plus, we rely solely on first-party data to create a golden view of a particular user. We put in a lot of thought into maintaining the most recent snapshot of a particular user, and we always maintain accuracy of data. And we're also working with different teams at Plus and even the enterprise technology team to ensure that we have an enterprise level commitment to data privacy and protection.
And we also have the easy implementation of lookalike audiences as well as the exclusion lists. We do iterate on marketing and bidding strategies. So this is super important because our collaboration really leads us to be some of the I'm sorry that I get flustered on this, but we are just really implementing the best practice of what we can be doing in the marketing platforms because of the collaboration with EdPlus and the University Technology Office. So we are just really grateful that we have all of this first-party data with us so that we can continue to iterate and expand our strategies and also focus on those deep funnel conversions through predictive models. Yes. As part of the ever iterating part of this this piece, we have all at asu.edu email addresses that are added to this. So if you do have an at ASU email, you are excluded from the ads.
We monitor web behavior data. So if users are logging into my ASU canvas, then we have that at asu.edu email address. We can put those in exclusion lists. Yeah. We use classification models and specifically XGBoost algorithms for our key models. Yeah, that is a really good question. So the golden profile does exist. It is something that we are able to look up. There are different places where we house that single view of the user, and one primary location is Helium. And this is our customer data platform. It's in fact ASU's customer data platform, not just EdPlus. So as we start putting in different data sources in there, Helium will do a lot of the joining. And Helium has a feature where if I know an email address, or if I know a particular contact ID and I want to look up what are their traits, what are their attributes, where are they in the funnel, I can just go into Helium and input that detail, that like an identifier, and then their entire profile would be visible to me.
Are your enrollment coaches using Helium and Salesforce?
That is a very good question. I love that question. So we have a lot of attributes in Helium that are very helpful to the enrollment center. So if you take a look at the request for information form that is available on ASU Online, it is a very shallow form. People only provide their first name, last name, an email address, and some contact details and an area of interest. So when an enrollment coach takes a look at this data inside Salesforce, they have to start afresh. They don't know anything about their personal circumstances or what is it that they're looking for outside of this area of interest. However, what Telium is doing for us is we're continuously monitoring their web behavior. So before I do an RFI submission, it's more than likely that I have explored all of the different websites and I'm exhibiting particular trends, right? In case of that golden profile example that I brought up, we saw that there was one particular user who was repeatedly consuming content relating to admission requirements for transfer students, they're likely transferred. So we do have all of these attributes at the point of RFI submission that aren't available in Salesforce. So, so we were asking ourselves, how do we make this data available to enrollment coaches? Because there's a lot of data in Telium that they aren't interested in. So what we did is we took all of these select attributes and we developed a prospective student dashboard. So we took the select attributes that the enrollment center would be interested in, and we created a data studio dashboard, which will, and the link to a particular user's profile is on that dashboard, and it's integrated with the Salesforce UI. So if an enrollment coach wants to call Shruthi to have a conversation, the link will be available in the Salesforce UI. And they can click on that dashboard, and then it will take them to a new tab, a Google Data Studio dashboard, and they can take a look at all of Shruthi's attributes. And during that first phone call, if we have a good match rate and the data is populated, they can say, okay, Shruthi is likely transfer, she is likely international, I should prepare my materials in advance. And then I can maybe naturally lead the conversation to find out, like, you know, if she does have these needs and how can I serve her better? So personalized conversations using Telium.
What's really great about that as well, after Shruthi's team showed us that dashboard, we got very inspired and wanted to use those attributes as remarketing audiences as well. So say a person is flagged as likely military, but hasn't submitted an RFI yet. We have communications and campaigns that go out to those folks because we know a little bit more about them than we did before.